Hello, this is Kevin with Bang It Inc. And today's session is going to be on how can I review my estimate and know that I'm complete. So the first thing I want to do is get me an estimate built. So I'm going to go off to a model here. And I've got a conceptual one set up here so that way I can go through some pretty quick takeoff. So I'm going to say that I've got 8 months of construction for 100 by 50, 12. And let's say I've got 10 exterior doors. I am doing some interior work. I've got 300 foot of interior walls. It's 8 foot tall. I've got 20 interior doors. 2 of them are silver and 1 of them is gold plated. So these I've kind of put in here just for goofs for this session and so forth. So I'm looking for things that, most of this other stuff, I already have all the pricing on, so it's going to calculate it. These I've got some issues with pricing that I want to kind of focus on here. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate this. And if you don't know anything about models, please either contact us or check out one of the other videos that'll be coming around the corner soon about how to build models and what they can do for me. So that was a blank estimate that I'd started with. I've done one model. If I generate it, that model had some general conditions in it. It's got some footings, interior slab, exterior wall, some doors for exterior doors, a roof on it. It's got some interior walls. It's got some, interior doors and so forth. So it's generated all that with the matter of the few seconds that we were just looking at it there. And if I sort this by model, so there was my option 1 for the first option they wanted. There's my footings, my slabs, my exterior walls, my roof, my interior walls, all broke out separate. So as I'm looking at this estimate, how do I know if it's complete? If I notice, most clients that I work with, if I ask them, how do you know if all your buckets are filled in? How do you know if you've got everything, all your quantities filled in, or if you put in an item that was, you're waiting on a supplier to get your price back or something of that nature, how do you find those items? And the most common response I get is, oh, it's highlighted. That's fair. But the problem I have with the color a little bit is it really looks at the dollar amounts associated with that item. So all it really shows me is an item that has no money at all for my total amount. Now, with this, the other thing, this color for me, I don't know why I have trouble seeing it. So if you want to adjust that color, you can go up to File, Options, Font for 0 amount items, and you can actually change these around a little bit. So that way, maybe I want to go with a little brighter color that'll, grab my attention a little bit more. So, and that way I could kind of see it pop a little bit. So keep in mind that that basically means that this has no money, no labor, no material. So I do have a great big hole, so that focuses. If I take a look at this silver plated door, in the database, I had put in what I thought labor would cost. I thought it'd cost me a couple hours for each one to set and so forth. And, so many dollars or so many hours that's going to calculate it, so much dollars per hour. That gave me some sort of amount for labor. But I've still got danger here in the fact of I could submit this bid and never have put in this material price. So in this example here, if I were to go back and actually put something in for my labor for that other door, let's say for this door, for some reason, it's gold, I got to handle it slower. So maybe it takes a whole whopping, 3 hours for every door to put them in. So that's going to basically say that I've got 3 hours since I only had one door. I'm going to say at $45 an hour. So I've got $135. So there again, now the line's not highlighted my yellow for a $0 amount here, but I've still got a hole here that's waiting to get me in trouble. It doesn't matter where you're at in the spreadsheet. I could be off somewhere completely different. And under your Home tab, there's an option called Scan Estimate. This is a hole checker. So if I click on that, it's going to say, you're missing something here. You're missing something over here. And as you notice, as I keep clicking on it, it will just keep moving throughout my estimate to where the holes are. And if I come up here and let's say that I had, maybe something here that I never did put a quantity in or something like that. If I start scanning for holes, it's going to also stop at this quantity and say, hey, you don't have a quantity here. You don't have no labor money there. You don't have no material money there, things of that nature. So it's just a great, takes a couple seconds to do, but it could be a fantastic way to actually confirm that you've got all the holes filled in before you go and submit that estimate. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and put my 300 back in here, and let's just throw some money at these. I don't know. Maybe that one's $500 a door, and this one's $1,500 a door. So now if I scan my estimate, it's going to come up and say no incomplete entries found. So everything that I've got in my spreadsheet, it thinks is filled out. Now let's say that there's a chance that I may sub out these doors. So I'm going to put a 0 over here. So they had a dash, meaning I wasn't expecting them to stop, but I put a 0 in there now. So if I scan the estimate for holes, now it knows there's a hole there. Come back and deal with me. If I want to go ahead and put money in here, so let's say that I decide that, it looks like the sum of those is for about $4,500 and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and say that somebody says for $4,400, they'll do it. So I'm going to go ahead and put $4,400 in there, and maybe I'll zero out my labor and my material here. So in this case here, zeros are bad news if I know I'm not expecting money there. Because if I scan the estimate for holes again, you'll notice that now it's going to stop at labor and material, where in essence, I've really put all the money somewhere else. So if I know I don't want money, like how these have dashes in them where they're not expecting money, instead of putting a 0 in, I'm going to put a dash in there. So now if I come back and scan the estimate for holes, the only thing that came up with is, wait a second, you put money in here, but you didn't tell me what sub. Some people like to put the sub in associated with the sub dollars. Some people do not. If you're the person that I don't put names in all this, you can go back up to File, Options, Include Subcontractor Name during scan. I may turn that off. So now when I scan it, it still comes up and says no more incomplete entries because it's not worrying about checking this name anymore. So if you're the person that, hey, I want to make sure everything has a name, make sure that box is checked. If you're somebody that, no, I just want to be able to throw money in here and give it a quick scan to make sure I've got all the buckets filled in, turn it off so it doesn't stop at that column. The other thing, I'm going to put 0 back in there, and I'm going to turn off my sub amount. So the other thing that's pretty cool about the scan is if you scan the estimate, right now, I don't even have the sub dollars turned on. So everything that's on the screen right now is technically complete. But if I scan the estimate for holes, if you notice, it will purposely unhide columns that if you told me there was going to be money there, so you don't have a dash, you've got a 0 or a blank, it's going to actually turn those columns on to try to help me deal with a hole instead of being able to, leave some money on the table for something that I didn't price out. That concludes this session. If you want to keep on top of more videos coming around the corner, make sure to check out YouTube on our Bangor Dink channel and subscribe, so that way there's going to be a lot more content coming around. And also, please check out our Buildcast for different podcasts that we're doing in the current time. Thank you very much.